I'd like to thank Asher Lewis for sending me this story. Here's another example of the so-called system doing a black man wrong. In this image, you have the picture of a man by the name of Jamal Trulove. Now, on the little piece underneath his image from the article that I'm reading, it said that he appeared on the reality show I Love New York. Now, if y'all are familiar with that show, New York, or Tiffany Pollard, because that's her real name, first made headlines or gained her claim to fame when she was on the show Flavor of Love back in 2006. I can't believe it's been that long. I can't believe I used to entertain that show. But, you know, back then, I think we all kind of did to an extent. And then, you know, she became so popular, she ended up getting her own spin-off show called I Love New York. Now, I don't remember seeing him on that show. But then again, it's been so long ago, so it's kind of hard to remember a lot of faces. But it said he appeared on that particular show. But anyway, I'm not here to talk about that. So he basically spent 6 years in prison after the police framed him for a murder he did not commit. He got released and he got paid a settlement of $10 million. That's probably why he's smiling in this picture right now. And this is a recent picture of him. I think this is probably the picture of him when he got released, or maybe in the picture he took after he realized he was about to get paid $10 million from the city. But let me go ahead and read this article. A San Francisco man walked away $10 million richer Friday after a federal court jury awarded him damages in a wrongful murder conviction that landed him behind bars. Jamal Trulove, age 33, accused 4 San Francisco police officers of framing him with the death of a friend at a public housing development in 2007, the San Francisco Gate reported. An 8-member jury affirmed Trulove's suspicions on Friday, unanimously finding that the 2 lead inspectors on the case, Maureen D'Amico and Michael Johnson, fabricated evidence against the defendant and withheld evidence that might have helped him prove his innocence. Trulove spent 6 years in prison before his murder conviction was tossed out. It's about time, said Kate Chatfield, one of Trulove's attorney. Justice is not merely being acquitted for a crime you did not do. This was finally justice. The jury found no wrongdoing by a 3rd inspector or the crime scene investigator in the case. All 4 officers are retired now, however, and the city will now pay the damage. See, they said all of them are retired now since this happened, which means they still get a goddamn pension, and most likely nothing will happen to them. Trulove was convicted in 2010 and sentenced to 50 years to life in prison for the murder of his friend Sue Kuka, who was fatally shot in the back. A neighbor who testified claimed she saw Trulove chase down Kuka and shot him after a heated argument. She assured officers he was the shooter after Trulove starred as a guest on the VH1 reality show I Love New York. An appeals court would overturn Trulove's conviction in 2014, and a retrial resulted in a jury acquittal the following year. The reality TV star filed a civil rights lawsuit against the city after his release, in which he accused officers of coercing witness Priscilla Lulamaga, then 24, to identify him. According to District Judge Yvonne Gonzalez-Rogers, officers showed Priscilla several photos of potential suspects, including Trulove, soon after Kuka's murder. Johnson, one of the lead inspectors, reportedly pointed to a clipboard and asked the witness, "Are you sure it wasn't Jamal Trulove?" Priscilla said she was unsure. Johnson later showed Trulove's photo along with other folks who she had already dismissed as suspects. Meanwhile, Inspector D'Amico reportedly showed Priscilla a single photo of Trulove rather than the usual array of potential suspects from which she would identify a shooter. Gonzalez-Rogers, whose February ruling allowed Trulove's civil rights lawsuit to go to trial, said there was also evidence that both officers were aware of another possible suspect, one who was never investigated in the shooting, probably somebody they knew. Justice has been a long time coming for Trulove, who attorney Alex Raisman said, bursting in tears at news of the jury's decision last week. When we won the acquittal for Jamal for a crime that he didn't commit, that wasn't really justice, that was what should have happened. But when he won this verdict, I think he feels that at least some measure of justice was done for him. John Cote, a spokesman for City Attorney Dennis Herrera, called the verdict disappointing. However, instead the city is analyzing the jury's findings and will determine how to move forward from there. Our goal is always to ensure that justice is served. Well, first off, I'm glad that this man did not spend too much time behind bars. They said 50 years to life. Like his whole life could have been gone. He's been in there for 6 years. He's now 30, what they said, 32, 33. So so he's been in there since he was what, 30, 27. That's crazy. He lost 6 years of his life, though. I mean, he's not going to get that time back, but at least he didn't lose too much time. Because, we've heard a lot of stories where a lot of black men have been convicted of crimes they didn't commit, and they spend 20, 30, 40 years in prison, and some never make it out of prison. And then whenever they want to bring the case back up and exonerate the person of the wrongdoing, the person is dead. And another thing, he got $10 million out of the city, but let's be real here, that's going to come out of the taxpayers' money for that city. But as far as those two officers right there, both of them ain't shit. And they basically walked away from this unscathed. Like all of them will walk away from it unscathed as usual, and it's business as usual. Now, it's rare that they would go into detail like this when they were saying how they were trying to coerce the witness into making it seem like it was him, because it said with the second woman, they with the other officer, when they brought in a picture, they only brought in his picture and not a selection of people that they usually choose. They tried to limit it to just him. And when they mentioned they probably knew who the suspect was, but they weren't trying to look for him, that lets me know, like right then and there, that yes, they most likely did know who actually killed this guy. That's what I was getting ready to say before I even got to that line, but they said it for me. Usually when stuff like this happens, they know who it is. And who knows why and the thing is, I would like to know why, if that was the case, why did they kill that man? What did that man know, or was that man a problem and they just had to eliminate him? That's why I always said that I feel like the police are nothing but a mob. Think about it. They are part of something called the Fraternal Order of the Police. That key word right there, fraternal. If you want to expound on that word and say fraternity is like a brotherhood. I always said that they were like a gang or a mob group, and I still believe that till this day. If they're not going to kill you, they're going to build up some trumped up charges against you to throw you behind bars, because at the end of the day, the prison industry complex is private and they need to make their money. And they can only make it for some reason when it's black bodies in prison, in jail. So even then, we are still profitable to them, but as chattel. Now, why does that word sound familiar? Chattel slavery. Another way that this establishment was profitable, through slavery. So when you have the colonizers saying, "Oh, y'all didn't build up this, you didn't build up that," think about this for a second. First off, don't white-splain a damn thing to them, because you'll be talking in circles when it comes to them, or they'll have you talking in circles. We built this shit up, and without us, they didn't make a profit either, just on our bodies alone, even if we didn't build a damn thing. Remember, auction blocks, they had to sell our ancestors to make money. That's all I have to say. Y'all let me know what you think down in the comments.